All right, so just for fun, because why not? Thought I'd walk. I'm going to build another little diorama for my GI Joe classifieds. So I've got a bunch of scrap wood that a friend gave me. So you can use whatever you've got, because this is not and does not need to be an exact science, which makes it even more. Well, sometimes the exact science stuff is fun too. But what I've got right now is I've got a 1 inch by 5.5 inch board that I've cut into a 22.5 inch long piece, which is, my shelves are 23.5 inches wide. So that gives me a 1/2 inch on each side. And then I've got a 15.5 inch piece here that I'm gonna set in the center. And I just cut a little piece to support that because I'm gonna let it overlap off the back. So I'll have one level and a second level. And then I'm gonna take this 2x4, I'm gonna cut little sections and put it here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I put screws in up here, and then I put this little support piece back in there using this Loctite heavy duty stuff. This is great. I'm running low on screws, so I have this, and this is what I'll attach my rocks and stuff with. But this is really good for just about anything. So I just put a bunch there and a bunch. Again, this is scrap wood, so it's been routed out, and I'm just gonna sit that right where I want it. Let's see. And so then I've kind of got 3 different levels here. I've got the initial level, I've got this level, and then this one sits a little bit higher. So I can have, and this will hold quite a few figures, and we'll be able to see all of them. Let's do some painting. So I've added this little palette here, Dollar Tree. In fact, well, I'll get to that when we get to it. Anyway, there's a lot of fun stuff you can pick up at the Dollar Tree. So I've got this. This is going to be your most expensive part of the project, just getting the whatever colors you want. There's no right or wrong answer. You could even leave it like this. Just leave it in this natural wood color if you wanted to. You could stain it, do whatever you want. I'm going to kind of try to do this like earthy thing, and I've got some like camouflage kind of colors over here. Green, tan, and this brown. And then I've got some like stone texture paint too. So we're going to start with a base coat here. Let's do it. All right, and also always mask up. You don't have to use something this handy. I use this for when I do use this when I'm spray painting, when I build drums. But you just kind of want a nice even coat. You can even go ahead and apply like, you can apply the other colors too, and they kind of create this like, anyway, you can let it dry, or you can add other colors. I'm gonna add a little different color, more color to it. But just to get that base coat down, you can do it as heavy as you want. I kind of like being able to still see some of the wood grain. Kind of makes it look more natural to me. So yeah, so let's add some more color. So nothing too crazy. I just kind of want it to add a little bit, so I'm not trying to drown out the brown completely. And then actually I kind of like that kind of dark look. I was gonna put some tan in it, but maybe we'll just leave it just like that. Let's let that dry and let's make some rocks. So I've got floral foam. You can get this. They have sometimes they'll have it at the Dollar Tree in like three little blocks. This was 3 of these big blocks like this. And I think it's like $7 for this, but this will make a lot of rocks. So this is where you get to be totally random and let the chaos theory take over. So you can cut your rocks however you'd like. I've not been making them super thick unless you want to make like a really tall one to sit somewhere on there. In fact, you know what? Let's do a couple taller rocks. So let's go a couple inches into this, and we'll just cut it. And again, it doesn't have to be beautiful or precise. I was trying to keep one edge that's fairly flat to glue down. So let's make two longer shaped rocks there. Okay. Now, you can use now this is going to, look at, you can see it already. This is super messy. This crap is a mess. So you can take scissors, you can use your fingers, whatever you want. You're going to just kind of, you don't want any straight edges. Rocks don't have perfectly straight edges. So just, I'll cut and break. It doesn't even matter. It's just totally rando here. You can cut real deep. You can cut shallow, kind of gouge into the front of it and give yourself some, and I'm going to go on all the sides except for the bottom, just because I don't know where I'm going to quite know where I'm going to put this yet. So just let it just have, it's just kind of take its own shape here. There's no right or wrong. And you just kind of, you can see, look, it's so messy. And you can see my scissors too. Okay, so there we go. There's one rock that we'll use, and then we'll do this one too. We'll do the same thing with it, but I'm going to kind of I want to put a deep, like, gouge in that one just for fun. All right, random. Yeah, nice. So this is where you just totally get to play and be creative. And it's funny how you can be just totally random and how this will end up looking pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's get a little more damage on the front of this, a little more character. There we go. Okay, so I'm using hammered black. It doesn't really matter. You can use any black. I wouldn't use gloss black. I would use like a satin or a flat. We're going to come over this with other colors later, but this seems to work pretty good. And then it'll soak into this green foam, and it actually kind of, you can do this as heavy or as light as you want, because the green kind of gives a natural look too once you've got it covered up with paint. All right, so again, don't inhale these toxins. Now, if this paint had to be perfect, like if we were painting something that was precise, we wouldn't roll wet paint into this. But this is it's not gonna really matter. It's gonna kind of create its own texture. So it's gonna be super, super dope, man. Now, we're gonna come in here with some gray. I've got some chalk paint. This is called Elephant. You can use a lighter gray, you can use a darker gray, you can use acrylic paint. It doesn't really matter. But I like this because it allows us to kind of highlight places on the rocks. I like to kind of hit on the inside of kind of some of the crevices we made. And then I also like to just kind of randomly hit it here and there. And then we're going to kind of just smash it with a little tan. Kind of gives it a lighter color. Anyway, so we're going to let that sit for a minute. You can either do this before you glue them on. I kind of like to glue them on first, so that's what I'm gonna do. So let's give these a second to dry. All right, because I'm an impatient person, these aren't fully dry. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna set one back here and kind of one over here in front of here. Now, you can still put a figure in this space. Might not be awesome. Could be right on the edge. So it just kind of is up to you. You can make it look symmetrical, put them like that if you want to. I kind of I like symmetry, but sometimes it's kind of fun to make it look random because nature doesn't always look symmetrical. It's beautiful in its non-symmetry. So I'm going to use this stuff again. I'm going to put a little of it back here where I'm going to put this rock. You don't need too much because obviously this foam is so light. I'm just going to push it down on there. It's hanging off the edge a little bit. That's totally fine. You can do the same thing over here. A little bit of that there. Oops, that was a little more than I anticipated. We're going to let that sit. Now we will let those sit and dry and get set before we start poking them with a sponge, okay? So let's wait for those to dry. And let's look at some moss. Okay, so I got a couple different things of moss. I got both of these at Walmart. Here's a little extra of this. I'll show you this too. This is reindeer moss. You can get this at the Dollar Tree, and it's $1.25 for a bag. So I didn't get any more of that because I wasn't at the Dollar Tree. But I've got some of this forest moss. Kind of see it's kind of more stringy in texture. And then this is one of my favorites, but this is sheet moss. So this, like, I think is the most common that I've seen out in nature. So I'm going to integrate a little bit of both of these into this. You can put some on your rocks. You can do the whole front side if you want. Put little patches here and there. It really doesn't matter. So let's have some fun with this. So I am going to take a little bit of this sheet moss and I'm going to put it right down here. So I'm going to use this Loctite stuff. Now, you can use a hot glue gun. You don't need to use Loctite, okay? But I'm going to just put a little bit here and I'm going to kind of push in so I know that it's going to stick. It doesn't take a whole lot. And then I'm just going to set the, yep, there you can see it now. Set the moss right there. And then you can randomly put it wherever you would like to. So that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll come back and our rock should be stuck on enough to hit them with some gray. So I've just kind of randomly I've used both of the mosses, the forest moss and the sheet moss. Even stuck a little bit, just little bits on the rock, okay? Now I've got my gray. I got a little sponge. Get these at the Dollar Tree. Don't go pay a ton of money for them anywhere else because they're just gonna get chucked. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on there and then I'm gonna come into the rock and just kind of start randomly hitting it wherever I want. Turn the sponge. You don't want it to, but we're just kind of highlighting it a little bit. We're gonna go do the same over here on this guy. Still a little, the glue's not totally dry, so I'm being real gentle with my pushes toward the back. Hit a little bit of it on the side here. I don't know if I'm not gonna be able to show that to you. Just get the camera back there. Yeah, a little bit over here. Just touch the front of it a little bit. Good. So it's just random, okay? All right. Now, what we can do is we're gonna take this over here and we can just kind of hit the rocks with just a little, because when that gray dries, it's gonna be way darker than it is right now. So I like to hit it with just a little tan, okay? Let's do it. I'm not gonna put my mask on because I'm not, this is River Rock matte. So I'm just gonna take this and just you can hit it heavier in some places, lighter in some. It's okay if you get some of the color on your board. It's really great because it's gonna just add some more texture to it. So basically, and then I don't put any finishing materials on this because it's not gonna it's not gonna be exposed to daylight. It's not gonna be, being worn and torn. It's just gonna sit there. You can if you want, nothing wrong with that. So that's that right there. And then you can apply that to anything. And of course, there's a million ways to do this stuff. I'd love to hear what you like to do. So hopefully that's helpful. It gives you some creative ideas, and we'll see you next time.